Hello, part 1. Let's start lesson 1 in the second term in unit 1, which is chemical combination. Can you remember what are the difference between the atom and the ion? The atom is electrically neutral in the ordinary state. In the neutral atom, the number of electrons equals the number of protons. The number of known elements up till now is 118 elements. Now we'll talk about the types of elements. We have three types of elements. We have metals, non-metals, noble gases. What about metals? Metals, they are elements which have less than 4 electrons in the outermost energy levels. Don't forget, they have less than 4 electrons in the outermost energy level. Properties of metals. Metals, they are solids except mercury, which is the only liquid metallic element. They have metallic luster, they are good conductors of heat and electricity, they are malleable and ductile. During the chemical reaction, atoms of metals tend to lose their outermost electrons to other atoms and change into positive ion. They will change into positive ion. Sodium atom loses outer electron to become positive ion. It contains 11 electrons, 11 protons, and 12 neutrons. But the sodium positive ion contains 10 electrons because it loses 1 electron and it changes into positive ion, 11 protons and 12 neutrons. During the chemical reaction, sodium atom tends to lose 1 electron from its outermost shell and it changes into positive ion, which carries 1 positive charge. What is meant by positive ion? Positive ion is an atom which loses an electron or more during the chemical reaction. Magnesium atom loses 2 electrons to change into magnesium ion or positive magnesium ion. It loses 2 electrons and it changes into positive ion. During the chemical reaction, the magnesium atom tends to lose 2 electrons and it changes into magnesium positive ion, which carries 2 positive charges. What about aluminium? Aluminium releases 3 electrons. Release or lose 3 electrons. During the chemical reaction, the aluminium atom tends to lose 3 electrons and it changes into positive ion, which carries 3 positive charges. Okay, they are metals. What about nonmetals? Nonmetals, they are elements which have more than 4 electrons, 5 or 6 or 7 electrons in the outermost energy levels. As oxygen, oxygen has 6 electrons in the outermost energy levels, so it is nonmetal. Properties of nonmetals. They are solids and gases, except bromine, which is the only liquid nonmetallic element. They have no luster. They are bad conductors of heat and electricity, except graphite, carbon. They aren't malleable or ductile. During the chemical reaction, atoms of nonmetals tend to gain electrons from other atoms to complete their outermost energy level and change into negative ions, which carry a number of negative charges equal to the number of the gained electrons, as in oxygen. When oxygen gains 2 electrons, so it will be negative ion, carries negative 2. When phosphorus gains 3 electrons, it will carry negative 3. It will gains as chlorine gains 1 electron, it will carry negative 1. What about negative ion? Negative ion, it is an atom which gains an electron or more during the chemical reaction. Examples on non-metal atoms and their negative ions. Formation of anion or negative ion. Okay, let us say negative ion. So chlorine, when chlorine gains one electron, it will changes to negative ion or negative chlorine ion, Cl negative. During the chemical reaction, the chlorine atom gains one electron from the other atoms and changes into negative ion, which carries one negative charge. Okay, what about oxygen? Oxygen receives two electrons or gains two electrons to change into negative oxygen ion, carries negative 2. During the chemical reaction, the oxygen atom gains two electrons from other atoms and change into negative ion, which carries two negative charges. Okay, what about nitrogen? During the chemical reaction, nitrogen atom gains three electrons from other atoms and change into nitrogen's negative ion in negative 3, which carries three negative charges. When the atom gains an electron or more, it changes into a negative ion because the number of negative electrons becomes more than the number of positive protons. But when the atom loses an electron or more, it changes into a positive ion because the number of positive protons becomes more than the number of negative electrons. What is meant by the ion? It is an atom which loses or gains an electron or more during the chemical reaction. The third type is noble gases. They are noble gases. What is meant by noble gases? They are elements which their outermost energy level is completely filled with electrons. Completely filled with electrons. Properties of noble gases, they are elements in which the outermost level of their atoms are full with electrons. Two electrons in K levels such as helium gas and 8 electrons in other levels such as neon, argon, and so on. Number two, they don't participate or they don't share in any chemical combination or in any chemical reaction in ordinary conditions. Their molecules consist of one single atom, monoatomic. They don't form positive or negative ions in the ordinary conditions. As neon, as argon, helium, they are noble gases. Okay, thank you everyone for listening. See you in the next part. Bye bye.